I do have the agenda. I didn't grab different paperwork today. Okay. Thank you.
The nose, that looks like it involved.
Yeah. Well, and that could be related to the.
So call the meeting to order at, well, it's now 12:01. 2:01. Put my glasses on. Sorry, everybody. And we acknowledge and respect the Indigenous peoples within whose traditional lands we are meeting on today. The agenda was sent out. And everybody, are there any additions, corrections? Okay, being not having none. Everybody reviewed the minutes from the last meeting?
Yep.
Questions, comments, concerns? Nope. Okay. All right. Cooney Lake Chamber of Commerce? Are they online? No. I don't see, I see.
Servers there,
yeah.
Robin, Pete,
Yeah.
this machine, so
And
nobody
this
from the
machine.
chamber
Mm,
running the meeting again.
again, okay. Okay, well, again, maybe they'll show up in 15 minutes when we're finished with. Good.
Well, I wasn't planning to
I'm-
take 15 minutes, but
Well, okay, I was giving you
okay, I have up to 15 minutes.
at least.
Where do I start? I went to did I tell you about the conference last meeting?
So you're going.
That I was going?
Yeah, you hadn't
Okay.
gone yet.
Well, I went.
You gave me an update.
Okay, all right, that's why I was.
It's like, great.
The conference was really good. I went to the Indigenous Symposium that was put on by Geothermal Rising. And it was really quite inspiring. There was Indigenous peoples from all over the world, really. From New Zealand, a big contingent from New Zealand, from Taiwan, Indigenous folks from Taiwan, which I wouldn't necessarily have thought of. Hawaii, mainland or onshore US, as well as Canada, and even a Maasai person from Kenya. Anyhow, it was really quite inspirational. They had to kick it off. They had local Stoney Nakota Tutina dancers and drummers come in and kind of start it all off, and that kind of carried through the whole event. With when before the section on New Zealand, all of the New Zealand folks all got up and sang a Maori song. And before the Hawaiian section, a woman went up and did a Hawaiian dance at the front, and it was all really, really cool and inspiring. Like I said, the main conference itself ran from Monday through Thursday. Some really good technical talks, some excellent kind of keynote, and some really good panel discussions / workshops. I participated the last day in a roundtable on defining a roadmap for geothermal in Canada, at the start of which they announced $500,000 in funding from the federal government for that, which was really good to see. But also it was really good to kind of interact with people about geothermal and hear the different perspectives. And there was someone there from the Northwest, like at our table, someone from the Northwest Territories, someone from an international consultancy, someone from a reserves evaluator. There's really all these different perspectives. But the conference was good. My talk was well received. It was a technical talk. Probably had about 50 or 60 people in the audience, including one of the former technical advisory council members from Geoscience BC. Jeff Witter was there, and I chatted with him afterwards. I got positive feedback from him. And then after the conference, I came back and we hosted there was a post-conference tour that kind of came through the Kootenays. It was called the Hot Springs Tour. And they went from Fairmont to Ainsworth to Halcyon to Canyon and then back. But on their way through, they stopped at our place and we put on a presentation. And it was, again, really well received. There was 16 delegates from all over the world, China, Slovakia, Sweden, US. I can't remember all the places, but it was really neat to kind of present our little story to an international audience in an intimate way. And I was telling Richard, because he lent us the slide screen to show the slides, that as I was presenting, one of my slides refers to a bunch of analog work that was done in the US in the Great Basin, where they looked at all of the different geothermal systems and kind of ascribed them to different styles. And we feel that the style here is similar to about 30 or 40% of the geothermal fields in the Great Basin. Anyhow, the author of that study, little beknownst to me, was sitting right beside me. And he gave me his card as he left, and I didn't realize who it was until after everybody had left the house. And I looked at his card and I was like, holy shit, it's Dr. Faulds. Anyhow, he's a prof from University of Nevada, Reno, and a world-renowned expert in geothermal, and had an email exchange with him afterwards, and he's agreed to act as an advisor for the project, along with Catherine Hickson, who's former president of Geothermal Canada. So we've got some really excellent people willing to help us out on a pro bono basis, which is incredible, really. Yeah, so that was the conference. And then after I got back, we started receiving and looking at the data from the survey that we did. And there's some interesting things showing up. I don't have all of the software to view everything kind of interactively. And what I would like to do is send the data to a third party who have serious computing capacity, and get them to integrate everything into a 3D model. It's one thing to kind of look at things and then try and line them up and see how things all kind of look, but it's quite different to have someone kind of create the model. So I think the encouraging thing is there's a fairly prominent trend that's emerging. It fits with a number of our assumptions, and I think that there's going to be some things that will come out of it that we'll want to target with some test wells. But that's all based on preliminary analysis, and we need to kind of take it to the next level. And I had thought that I was going to have enough funding left over to do that inversion work, and now it turns out we're short, because we had to pay GST on the survey itself. That kind of shorted us the money that we need to do the inversion. But we need to figure out where I can attract 10,000 plus to kind of complete the work. What else? Oh yeah, I also got a proposal from Kyla Hooker, who's the principal with your Wayfinders in Creston, about doing some community engagements, running focus groups, and survey potentially, and with the idea that being kind of in the fall, once we've completed our full analysis and understand what we want to do next. But I was a little bit surprised that how much the proposal, or what that work would cost, and I don't quite honestly have a good feel for what it was cost, but it was about $25,000, which is a big deal for us.
Yeah.
And so, chatting with Maggie a little bit about it, she says, well, why don't you contact the coach that you had through the social purpose program that was run through Community Futures? And so I've reached out to her, and not so much with the idea that she would do it, but she might have an idea as
of
to
avenues, yeah.
getting a second opinion on it. And I've got a call with her next week. But I've always been impressed with the feedback I've gotten from her. So we'll see where that goes. And so right now it's like focus on trying to get the final work done, and then move into kind of a more focused community engagement, community feedback kind of mode in the fall. Yeah. And in the meantime, I just need to figure out where I can find some extra funds to do the inversion. So if anyone has any suggestions on that, I'm all ears. We've got about $4,200 remaining, and we probably need a total of $10,000 at least to do the inversion, plus some other things. So a minimum of 6,000, but ideally
10 would give you room.
Yeah, 10 would give us room to do some gradient well testing, which we had planned to do as well.
So,
Gary?
yeah, a couple of possibilities for funding. So it's gonna fill in a couple other blanks, right? It was kind of brief bit of a correspondence with Gord over it. While he was in Calgary, I was up in Edmonton overlapping that time period at FCM, our federal conference, and it targeted a couple of the sessions. One of them, two of them, Don Iveson was actually on panels. He was mayor of Edmonton for a number of years, 10 years ago, hosted that FCM conference. And since he's been working on different sustainability and innovative projects and the like. So one of his pieces between the two sessions I saw him on was on community energy systems. And at the particular session he was talking about that, there was a representative from the FCM Municipal Green Fund, who a lot of us know, Kaylin Jervis. She was
Oh, is that what she's doing?
community liaison. I knew that a few years ago. I saw her at the FCM conference. She was talking about tree planting programs. When I looked into it, it was just for villages and towns to get a few hundred trees, whereas I was wanting to get 500,000 trees too on some of the burn areas, plantings and stuff. Because if you don't salvage, the province won't pay for the trees and the planting. And we had issues around salvage burn areas. So anyway, this time when I approached her, and Dawn was there, I told her what I wanted to target. She said she wasn't the expert on the geothermal, but she could put me in contact. I didn't have a solid ask. I said we might finish an analysis, because back in early June, I was thinking, well, you're going to get this data in some kind of a model. Then maybe the next stage would be drill here, drill there. But it sounds like there's an interim stage to maybe the Green Municipal Fund would be a good target if it's 10, 20K, something like that. So maybe that's something we should pull together an email for Kaylin, and then she would give it to the person in, I think it's her supervisor, because the way she was in another session, and I don't have her name top of mind, but talking more about that energy side of stuff. And a new person in the FCM group that I hadn't met before with that person. So I think we could target there for funds. Short of that, if they want us to leverage, we haven't dispersed all of our grant funding for 2026 in this service. But it's always better to leverage, because if you can show the stepping stones of what other groups are involved, like you've involved some of the experts, that's excellent. But if we can involve these other major funding sources, if they do an evaluation and say, yeah, this is promising, then that's a federally recognized entity saying, hey, this is a significant project. So I can push that. The other thing with Iveson is quite interesting. We talked a lot about water sustainability. So I have corresponded back and forth with him about the Preston Valley. Right now there's seminars for farmers of how to survive on less water. And I said, that's not what we should be talking about. When you get harder to get food from somewhere else, it makes no sense. We have a potential for a much larger food economy. It resonates with mandates. So instead of teaching people how to survive with less water, let us explore getting more water out of the Kootenai River, which we have preliminary concepts for, and some big numbers, but numbers on a page for the engineering, and triple or quadruple our crop yield up in the benches of Canyon Mister, up in the areas where it's too dry most of the year to get decent harvest if it's peak crops, and or whatever else we want to do. So that same group, he said, yeah, that sounds like a project. They can attract investors. So I didn't talk about geothermal investors much right away. But I mean, our investment in community energy systems would be low because Riendell has no concrete curb and gutter and sidewalk.
Yeah.
That's the biggest barrier. Putting in these systems through town is cutting and repairing concrete. There's some asphalt to cross, but that's much less of a barrier to cut or to jet underneath the asphalt because it's only 2 lanes. It's not highways.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's 2 interesting things came out of talk with his group. And the one, Kaylin, that I just kind of left sit, maybe if we came up with numbers and why, that would be the first ask. And then if she needed leverage money, we could bring it back to the next
Yeah.
one.
And that also, like, I mean, we have the next meeting set for the 8th of September, but if the fund, if that request and ask needs to become sooner, then that would just trigger us having another meeting in August.
In a
right?
while, would be hold on
Mhm.
granting funds, but I don't think it would affect this commission, because this commission, the funding recommendations of this commission is not based on the director. It's
Correct.
based on the public commission members.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be held up during election period, where some request to recommend funding is
Is
held
held.
up during the election period.
Yeah.
And I think the submit paperwork date starts August 1st or something. So, yeah, that's promising. With Kayla's group, we also had conversations with Amy Hotchkiss about maybe giving us a sort of a proposal to run with more than one thing that this group might want to do. So the last Crescent Valley Services Committee meeting we had July 2nd, asked the question again, do we have a combined Area A EDC in town of Creston service provider sort of being worked out, where we go expression of interest to find out who could deliver or support these activities, whether it's community outreach or something administrative or something research-based. You've got research covered, but and right now I think we have administrative coverage connections, but we don't have everything covered.
Mhm.
And the request for proposals hasn't been drafted and hasn't gone out yet. So we're more than 6 months into the fiscal year. So I'm less concerned with what's going to happen with the areas BC and town and Creston economic development in terms of trying to get something that's merged. I was in a meeting this morning about the Imagine Kootenai Invest Kootenai side of it, which is still moving ahead, and I have some ideas that I will come back to you if we want to fund a way to give that another boost or not. But these other sort of grand schemes and matrices of projects are stalled. So it seems to me we should pick 1 or 2 that are of interest to us. So I'd be interested if Amy Hotchkiss had a separate proposal, hopefully not the 25,000 range, to tackle 1 or 2 things.
Mhm.
Because it makes no sense to do community outreach as well for one thing if we have 2 things.
Yeah.
Maybe get the number out of the stratosphere, but then go up with 2 things.
Yeah, and part of the proposal included, just to kind of backtrack a little bit, included basically doing like a more structured and sophisticated open house, which would speak to what is geothermal, how is it used, here's some case examples, all stuff that are well within my wheelhouse to do. And so I think if you were to kind of parse that out of the proposal as in, it's not something we need them to do.
Mhm.
I think it might be a more reasonable number.
Okay. Great. Well, it sounds like a fun conference.
It was.
Yeah.
They had an event, just as an aside. It was sponsored by this group called WING, Women in Geothermal, and it's an international group. And they always have functions that are attached to these conferences. And it was this time it was Battle of the Bands.
Uh-huh.
And one of the organizers, She is rather unassuming, short cropped hair glasses, but she's a heavy metal drummer. And so, and anyhow, it was companies that put together these bands. So she had some people from her company that
Yeah.
came. Anyhow, they were the ones that kicked it off, and then some of the other ones were pretty incredible. In
That's
terms
fun.
of, well, I mean, you've seen that here, even,
Yeah.
you know, it's like you don't know the talent's there until
So you hear
you
them?
put a mic in front of them.
Yeah, yeah.
That was quite entertaining. Actually.
Great.
And then you were a host, they came here. I
Yeah,
don't know,
Yeah.
everybody's aware, you got more than a couple of people here to tour through the Glutes.
yeah, there was 16 people, yeah.
So they know
Okay.
the backyard now.
Mhm.
That's one way to remember a place, not see it on the
Yeah.
map, but actually.
Yeah, come through it. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Did they stop at all the hot springs?
I believe so. Well, yeah, like I don't know if they actually stopped at Ainsworth. I think they did. And then they overnighted at Halcyon and then would have done their dips probably in the morning and then gone on to the next place. But yeah, no, it was certainly good exposure.
That's great. Okay.
Did anyone else join the?
Oh, no, no one else has
No.
joined.
The chamber, you might have got these update or whatever, they're doing their next meeting, which will be by July 20th, 5:30.
Oh,
I don't know, I just might have been this morning.
oh, is it their email thing? The email
Yeah.
news?
Yeah, so 5:30.
It says June.
So
Oops.
if they don't come to EDC meetings,
Maybe-
we can go to chamber conference.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll reach out to Krista and find out, and maybe just, I know Krista, like, she excitedly informed me that the financials were all done and they were ready to bring them to the EDC meeting, so something
Had they
new.
not indicated that they wanted to come to every meeting
Yes.
going forward
Yes, they have,
and have not been to one since?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
I
Yeah,
was gonna also say July 20th is an advisory planning heritage committee meeting, which is in Great Creek, normally runs from 3 to 5. So I was thinking I could probably make that chamber meeting. I have time to get home. It'll
Okay.
take me 20 minutes from Great Creek to get home and log on, so. But I don't know if anyone else wanted to write that in the calendar, just
did you say it started July?
July 20th at 5:30. But the email I got, I think, I'm pretty sure it says just via Zoom. It's not even in person location, so.
Okay,
So, I mean, if it is in person, then
well,
I'm Great Creek.
I've got the email, I've got the email
Is that at
right
the
here.
Grey Creek Hall you're saying,
Yeah,
Gary?
it
or-
does
No,
just
I'm
say,
meeting it
Oh.
ends at 5, it's a Great Creek Hall, this didn't
Right.
give a location.
Probably just because how busy
Just-
everyone is,
Is
I
it
guess.
just online, I wonder? or- Yeah.
Except this morning, my Zoom for my morning meeting took forever to log on. So I don't know if everybody's on Zoom again.
I know, right? Where does it say the meeting?
I prefer.
right kind of in the middle of the newsletter,
And
they
he's
sent out,
got a badge.
right before the what's happening section. It just is
Oh,
like.
just says bottom,
it just
okay.
says, link will be sent out to those who want to attend.
Yeah, so I think we might have
Okay.
an email interest. Which I was in yet.
Okay. July
To do my
20th.
standard thing, I hit reply and then I don't. That's part of the 26 things I haven't answered.
Right?
I will.
Yeah, because I'd like, I like to pop in there once in a while, and I haven't actually gone to a meeting for a while myself, so.
But if
Okay,
they had financials and other information on, balances left or whatever from previous grants, they can send that to you anytime.
at any time, yeah, so I'll reach out.
You don't have to
Just
wait for a meeting.
Yeah, because the other
Yeah.
piece is that we still haven't received the financials from them for the executive director stuff. For
Wow.
Christmas, that's what Chris,
Saying, yes, we're gonna take that space. And they had a bit of a nesting from sale of the old building, the Armitage building, to put into investing part of the tenant improvements. So they're off to a pretty good start. And it's a nice space. It's a lot better than church basements or kind of space a lot of people have to meet in as the
Yeah.
last resort, so.
Yeah,
that's
for
a
sure.
nice space.
Okay.
But off topic. Just the Chambers of Commerce,
Yeah,
that one
well, they
is
just-
quite
they-
active right now.
Yeah, it's very active. They just brought in a new board and Mildred's staying on as sort of an advisor, staying on the board to sort of help transition. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Okay, Peter, do you have anything that we're missing?
Nope, thanks for letting me join.
Yeah, thanks it's nice to see you. And I'm gonna guess the observer is just observing and doesn't want to say anything.
Public time,
Public time?
we have a member of the public here.
Yeah, we do.
You have anything you wanna say?
Okay. Having no one, asking for public time, our next meeting, September 8th, 2026 at 2 PM, unless another one earlier is needed.
Yeah, either the call of the chair or.
Yeah.
members if Feel there's something.
Yep, anyone
move
can,
money
anyone
around.
can call one. Yeah,
I'm gonna say, do you, like, as far as funding for that geothermal goes, you're gonna need money before September, I would assume.
Yeah,
yeah,
I just need to kind of confirm with
where you're at,
where we're at. I
okay,
think right now our balance is about 4,200. I got kind of a rather informal number from this one group in Vancouver.
okay,
And in talking to Catherine Hickson, she said we should chat before you just send it to them. So she may have another idea. And
okay,
Okay,
she's actually traveling back from Italy today, and so I hope to connect with her later this week and see. She may have another suggestion.
Another avenue.
To get a quote from them, and then once I have that, then I think I can come forward with a
Okay.
firm request.
sure,
Screen Municipal Fund might, because they have a person working on that line now, they might come up with something, so we'll send the random email or just copy you and say hi.
Yeah, that would be that would be great. Yeah.
Tell us if we're looking for rough, bracket money for finishing off the data model.
Yeah, and I had I had a call yesterday with Robin Peel, who was with Community Futures in East Kootenai. She was the one that put together that social purpose program.
okay,
And one of her suggestions, which I had kind of lost sight of, was IRAP. And they may be able to kick some money towards something that's of a technical nature, because that's what they do. They support technology development.
What's IREP, industry, something, resources? It's,
Yeah, industry, I think for sure is the first letter.
okay. Okay, well, reach out if you need us to, if we need to.
I will for
Come
sure,
together
because
earlier.
Forrest makes a good point. It would likely be before the next.
Yeah,
meeting,
that's-
so-
that's-
or September, especially if you wanna be moving to community engagement by September.
By September,
You know,
yeah,
like we could maybe talk about money for the community engagement portion then, but you probably need the money for the other stuff. sooner.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I only got kind of the current balance from Gary Sly just the other day, so.
okay,
um,
great. Well, looky there,
All right,
meeting adjourned at 2:36.
thanks, everyone.
Thank you.